you don't have to be at home. So like I do e-notaries wherever I am because I always have my MacBook with me. And so it really doesn't matter as long as I have Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter where I am. You know, now you want to make sure that you're not like somewhere loud so people can hear you. And, it has, a good general vibe. But you can do it from wherever you are. I've done e-notaries in my car, okay? So I'll be like driving and someone will call and they say, oh, can you e-notary? Or typically will say, can you notarize something? When I say, oh, we could do it as an e-notary. And then they'll say, oh, really? And I say, yeah, just email me really quick your document. And so I'll tell Siri, text this number, my email address, and Siri will text the number and they will email it to me. And then I'll just pull over at a gas station or wherever I was going and we'll hop on there like 2 seconds, done. And I'm on my way and go on my business. And so for that reason, I love e-notary. And that's kind of for me why I kind of transitioned away from in-persons because my time now, you guys know all the things that I got going on. I couldn't pull out 2 hours. Like now you're like, Vanessa, that's 2 hours. No. 2 whole hours for a loan closing? I don't know that I can do that anymore. So it didn't work for my schedule. And so so right now I don't really typically take loan closings unless I'm just like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Let's just go back and have some fun. I like general notary work and e-notary. And I still do general notary work because I can do it whenever. And general notary work is quick. And so when someone calls me, I can just say, oh, where are you? Meet me here. And it's 2 seconds, right? In and out. It's easy money. I don't turn down easy money. It is okay. So wherever your notary business is listed, if it's a signing service, if they have it where you can stay, if they're doing wrong, let them know. If it's a website, it's a Google business page. If you are in a chamber of commerce or any other like networking organizations for businesses, everyone that's where you have your notary information, you should also have on there that you're an e-notary. And what I typically say is to educate your audience. So I will put like little sentences here and there, like explaining what e-notary is, because most people, like the average person, not a business, the average person in the average business that's not in the real estate space or not in the law space, typically when I've seen, they're not really familiar with it. I would probably say like 80% of the businesses that I talk to that are not real estate or not law don't know what e-notary is. Like if I say e-notary, it makes sense. It must be an electronic notary, but they are not familiar. So I make it my business to educate anybody that I talk to about notary on what e-notary is. So I can teach them this is what it is, it's how easy it is, it's how simple it is. Honey, it's gonna save all of your time, okay? Like I have a dentist office that used to always call me for notarizations, but now we just do it e-notary. That's one that's local to me. And we don't have to worry about scheduling because he was really busy. The actual dentist was really busy. And so he was always like, okay, he would call last minute. Can you be here in like 15 minutes? Right. But luckily he's not far from me. But now we can just do it remotely whenever. And so it makes it more convenient for them. Okay. So anywhere that you have your company information listed, just make sure you also add that you are an e-notary and tell everybody. Okay. So this is what I'm going to get to here. This is the sample script that I use also in my book for you guys to go check out. So I typically convert most of my general notary work calls that I get from my Vanessa Terry notary as an individual. I convert them typically to e-notaries. I would probably say 50 to 60% of the time. The only reason why some people typically will not do an e-notary is because they're like, wait, can I do that? And I explain and they're like, no, that's okay. I just want to do it in person. Like they're so used to it that they're just like, I don't know, but what is that? So it's new to them, so they don't really understand it, so they'll still do in person. Or if it's a power of attorney or a will, we still do in persons. So how that usually goes, and you guys could use this script, so take a screenshot, or if you have my book, you know it's in there. I was just calling to see, let's say a customer calls you and they say, hey, I was calling to see about having a paper notarized. Can you do that? You can say, I most certainly can. First, let me ask you, did you want to get your document notarized in person or e-notary? And that's usually what I say. I don't say all this other stuff. I just say or E-Notary. And then they'll say typically, wait, what's the E-Notary? And then I'll explain to them, E-Notary is where you would email me the document, join me on a video session from your smartphone or laptop. And I always say from your phone. The reason why I always say from your phone is because if I tell somebody they have to get on the computer, the average, I don't want to say the average, I don't like to put ages out there, but most people, if I say get on your phone and do it, what do you think? Oh, that's easy. I can do that, right? Because how many of y'all on your phone right now while I'm talking? You texting, okay? Most people have their phones all day, every day. And so when I say you can do it from your phone, it's like, oh, okay. But so I typically say phone, not laptop or computer, because then, and really it goes into sales and psychology, right? So if and this is like me helping you with the marketing piece, if I'm trying to get you to do something different than you've always done, or that what to your mind is a traditional way to do something, it has to be simpler. If I try to get you something different and it's more complicated in your mind, you're going to stick to what you've already been doing. And so whenever you do like sales calls, things like that, you want to think about that. And also when you go to title companies, one helpful tip that I always tell people that go into title companies is never go in there salesy. Like, don't go in there like, oh, I'm a notary. Can you use my services? I always approach it from a method of how can we help each other? And so I think about the disadvantages or the problems that title companies have. And I honestly, genuinely try to figure out, and from talking, and this is from research, guys, is from talking to title companies, talking to escrow officers, what is the major problem that you see? And then I go that way, right? If I just go in just saying, oh, give me your money, I'll be your notary, you won't typically you'll get more, trust me. You'll get more when you try to solve people's problems than if you just try to get their money. Okay. And so same thing when it goes, this is a side note that was for you, a little note for you to take later. So I typically say, oh, you can do it from your phone. And now their mind has switched to, oh, right. How does it work? And then we go to, okay, just email me a copy of your document. We can hop on an e-session. And then as soon as it's done, immediately after it's done, you're going to get a copy of the notarized document sent to your email. Okay. When I say that, typically a lot of people say, oh, cool, then I can just email it where it has to go. Yay. They're so excited. And so that's typically how I convert someone who just calls me from my Google business page, right? I can convert them from having to meet with them to do it in person to an actual e-notary client. Okay. The other way is when you're marketing to businesses. And so I do this a couple different ways. This is just a general idea. There's not one size fits all. It always depends on who I'm talking to. And that's why I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I'm really, really big on understanding your audience. And so how you would approach a car dealership, you would approach a hospital completely different, right? And it goes back into, and you don't have to get this deep into it. Like I said, this is just me giving you that over an advanced level if you're at that point and you really want to go into, all that stuff. So if you, let's say you're reaching out to a business, right? And I was calling to have a paper notarized. Would you be available at 4 p.m.? I most certainly can. Oh, certainly am. First, let me ask you, did you want to have your documents, again, in person or electronically notarized? Typically the same thing. They'll say, wait, what's e-notary? And I said, this is just a kind of general script that you could say. It's very simple. Most businesses have been using it since the pandemic. Why do I say that? Because it's the business I'm talking to. And most businesses are aware of other businesses, right? And so it's more time efficient and more cost effective. So when I tell somebody that's just calling me to get a school form notarized, do it from your phone, it's because I know that they're like, oh, that saves me time. I don't have to drive to you. And I can just email where I'm thinking about what makes it easier for them. With businesses, most companies would love to save on their time, right? They want to bring their expense levels down so they have a higher profit. So I tell you that it's time efficient and it's cost effective. Right now, I'm speaking your language. Now it's like, okay, well, how can you save my business money with e-notary, right? And so now I'm starting to talk about the things that you're interested in. I'm looking to solve your problem. Once again, I'm not trying to sell you on I'm not trying to get your money. I'm trying to solve your problem. And that's one of the things that really good sale, and like I said, I don't want to get too salesy, but that's something that really good sales reps do. They look to solve a problem. If you can solve someone's problem, that works. If you just try to push your product on someone and they don't know you know what I mean? Like, why do I need that? You have to educate them on how I'm helping you. How am I solving your problem? Okay. And if you solve someone's problem, you don't have to sell your product. It sells itself. Because who in here has a problem that if someone gave you the answer to, you would not take? If it made sense. Like, oh, this solves my problem. It's convenient and it makes sense. You would take it, right? And so that's what we're doing. That's how that typically works when I'm talking to businesses. I'm trying to solve their problem. Okay, so then they may say, okay, well, tell me more. And then I explain it. You know, this is how it works. Yeah, you can read the screen on there. But yeah, that's basically how I would just reach out to them and just tell them, you know, the basic process, email me the document, we hop on a session, notarize. It takes about 5 minutes, give or take, depending on how many pages you have. Okay. And then with businesses, I do a little different. I give them like one rate for one-time users, but I always say if you have consistent documents, we can work out a pricing agreement. So like it's more convenient for you because you have consistent work. Okay. But that's something we'll get into later. Okay. There's also in the book a script about, my time. There's also in the script, there's also in the book a script about how to market to title companies. So go ahead and grab that if you're looking to, oh, there it is. I think I put it in here. I'm not going to go over this one because I'm getting a little past my time. I want to make sure that I'm staying on my time here. But yeah, my time is getting by me a little bit, but it's okay. All right. So with title companies, you can just do the same process, especially if you have a good relationship with the title company. So if you already are working with a title company, chances are 9 times out of 10, usually 10 out of 10, that most title companies at this point have heard of E-Notary. So it's not like you have, now sometimes you still have to educate them on how it works, like, you know, how it would work and how it worked with you. But at this point, most title companies have at least heard of it and are familiar. They may not be using it, but they typically have heard of it. Okay, but you still would just educate them on how it goes. You usually would talk to whoever you normally would have spoken with, and they would have to, you know, talk to like the office manager or, you know, whatever escrow officer in charge to, you know, start implementing that. And it also depends on the lender too. So it's not just a title company. I was talking to one of our clients about Ron, and she was just telling me how she wanted to do Ron. Like she just wants to do Ron so much, right, for her clients. But she said she had to wait for the lenders. She was like, some lenders will be like, oh, we can do it. And the other ones are like, no, we're not doing that. And so I think from the titles that I've spoken to, no one has said, oh, we don't want to do Ron. Everybody's like, oh, we're definitely doing this, right? And so you don't really have to sell them necessarily. It's just building that relationship, having your knowledge base done. Like, you know, when you walk into or you call, you got to know your business. So you need to know what platform do you use? How do you check ID? You know, how are you doing this? What are your rates? You know, all that stuff is important. So that way, when you call, you can explain it to them and you sound educated and you sound knowledgeable and confident in what you're doing. So if you're not ready to go title, you don't have to. Start off just doing general notary work, E-Notary. Start off with that. Okay. And just get your feet in the game. I think that about wraps me up anyway. And then make sure you stay up to date on industry changes. Okay.